Hello everyone, hope everybody is surviving. If you're watching this, that means you are. There's so much to talk about, but I kind of had an epiphany today that I want to share with everyone. So, obviously, as mothers, we have a deep need to protect our children from harm. And it appears as though these court actors, these judges, these GALs, these psychologists by the court, or even DSS, things like that, they are giving children to abusive men because they know that a mother is going to fight non-stop. How would family court work without parents? If it was an amicable situation and they could say, this man is clearly dangerous, he's an abuser. Instead, they slander and discredit the mother for her emotional reaction to her child's horrible suffering at the hands of the person they're giving them to. So then they use that to discredit her, to continue this cycle, to make her pay for all of these extra services just to be a mother. So if we take ourselves out of that, which, they'll age out, but by then they'll have so much money from us, it is obvious that attorneys are in this little game. Sabotage, throw the case. It is depraved indifference to children suffering. They know that these children are being abused. They know that they're being neglected. They know that they're unsafe and it's going to affect them. They also know that mommy's coming back with an attorney. That means daddy's going to keep fighting. They're going to let daddy. They're going to help him because it's going to be more conflict. Once the court decides that a father is unsafe, he can't come back and fight anymore. So for them to put that in an order and say, father is on drugs, father is committing crimes, child has medical problems, father lies to the court, father makes allegations, he is unfit, done, right? It's curtains for that case. Oh no, they're not going to do that. It is a money machine. We're going to keep feeding it because we're trying to protect our children from real harm. That these attorneys, judges, GALs, they all know it. How do they even sleep at night? What do they convince themselves the kids are okay until they're dead? They know they're not okay, especially certain judges and officials, GALs. They enjoy this little cycle, this power game. That's how they live. That's how they're making money in family court. There is no such thing as a high conflict custody case. It is abuse and domestic violence. That's it. But if that were to be implemented into our family court system, a lot of people would be losing their so-called bread and butter. The reason the mothers keep coming back, they allow it. Now, I think they intentionally discredit and slander the mother so they'll keep coming and appear unstable and they know it'll be a process and blah, 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 file, whatever. In my case, they outright slandered me. They slandered me with things that I have direct evidence that they lied about. Now, why would someone do that? Because I was going to file an appeal, right? I need an attorney for that. This is a big deal. Let me find some more money to pay someone. And in the past, the attorney is just coming up with bullshit at the hearings, intentionally sabotaging my chances of protecting my child to perpetuate this cycle of money. Money. And they're all in the game or they wouldn't have a chance. The ones that have souls have been pushed away and they see what's going on. It is destroying lives, and not just the mothers. The children are going to end up with ACE scores that are through the roof, which means they'll be using drugs. They'll have poor health outcomes. They'll be incarcerated. They'll be in abusive situations. They'll have early death rate, Is this what we want for our next generation? For what? Some money for family law attorneys and the judges for whatever kickbacks you get from the federal government for having a GAL program? Is that it? Is it really worth the next generation of children being abusers, being victims? I don't think it's worth it. And I get hyped up because this is a realization that it's like, holy crap, you've just been playing this game the whole time. It's a game. Let's play abuser and let's play courthouse. That's what we're doing. We're playing courthouse. They know we're going to find a way to pay an attorney because we feel deadlocked. But at this point, I feel as though it is time to file federal lawsuits and, just sue all of them. Civil suits, federal suits, civil rights violations, denial of due process, constitutional rights violations, and deprivation and debilitation of maternal rights based on the perpetuation of the court system needing funding. I am here to say that I know exactly what's going on. I feel it and I see it. It's not just about equal rights amendment. It's about greed. It is about cruelty. And it is about a lack of integrity and morality and a moral conscience. It is time to get those people out of their seats that they're in, depravedly indifferent to severe suffering that is long-term affected on our children. These people need to be held accountable. We need to hold them accountable. There needs to be a list of judges, attorneys, GALs, minors counsel. I know some of you, overseas and whatever else you were calling the barrister, people like that. It's time to make them pay for what they've done, for the pain and suffering and what it's caused. And, even if we don't have custody right now, we know our children are being destroyed. I'm seeing women who are being denied being the right to file contempt motions, women who are denied to even do anything or come near their children for reporting abuse and doing things, which obviously perpetuates the let's play courthouse game. I don't want to play courthouse anymore. I want to play games with my child at home and have a normal life free from abuse, cruelty, and pain. I don't think that's that much to ask. I don't. And I know I'm going to have it. Taking my power back came a little bit at a time for people really encouraging me and kind of giving me direction, and also seeing why all these people were treating me so crazy, because I couldn't imagine if that continued to be real life. And I just thought it was me. That was a dark place. It hurt. It was just so scary. So many scary things happened to me because I uncovered truth in numerous situations, not just with my child's case, like a lot of serious things. So it's been kind of a nightmare, but I've risen above that, kind of started speaking out. It's time to speak out. And I knew I had to get out publicly and speak about what I know to be true. Now, I wanted to talk about investigating the abuser and how important that is for you in your case to have facts to show and prove the other parent is unfit. In most of these cases, these abusers are doing things behind the scenes that are terrifying, and our children should be nowhere near it. In addition to concealed things, because these abusers do not tell the truth. They come to the court, they make blatant false allegations, they lie, they file with lies. They have no fear of lying because there is no accountability for their false statements, slander, libel, and character assassination of the mothers. Even in open court, they're allowed to say whatever they want and attack the mother. And then she's expected to represent herself against a man that most likely beat her, raped her, degraded her, or other behaviors, just cruel behaviors, emotional abuse. Some things that people don't know that are happening because a man might seem like a good guy. He's nice. He's cool. Plays sports. He's a good businessman. He's an attorney. He's got a nice car. He looks okay. And his child says she loves him. And I see that. It's a ruse. I'm sorry. The man's abusive and cruel, and you've been fooled. He hurts mothers and children. I'm not negating the fact that there are women that are abusers, but it is a much smaller percentage compared to the women that are engaged in this situation. Mostly, homosexual relationships, there is, a higher rate of violence in that. And those couples do have children as well, so they're in the courts as well. And there are also men that are victims of coercive control with, narcissistic women or, women who are abusive. But it is much harder for a woman to control a man or put him in a situation to where he has a lack of control over certain things. It takes a very rare dynamic for that to happen. So that's why I'm focusing on moms. So back to investigating the abuser. I want to talk about that because that has been very important for me to understand what's been happening with my child and what she's been enduring and experiencing. And that's the most important thing that we have to talk about in court. What is the child's view of this? How does a child feel when they're experiencing these things? Everything needs to be based off of that. The safety, the feelings, the emotions, the fear of the children, and not have a biased investigation because the child is in the abuser's care and they make cross allegations to cause confusion, because most of us have dealt with that constantly, which perpetuates the cycle of the let's play courthouse. The things that I did was request medical records for every major medical hospital, agency, a facility within a 100-mile radius. Full medical record search from any time the child's been with him, just this date to this date. You can send in the money, your ID, the birth certificate, you can get it, no worries. Also pharmacy records to see if there's been any kind of medication picked up or any problems. You can get that too. You can call 911, or not 911, but you can reach out to the sheriffs and other law enforcement agencies in any county that the abuser has been in. And you can request those records to be emailed to you. I found dozens of 911 calls. You can also go to the police station to get a full criminal record, as well as the courthouse with the criminal records division. You will have to pay for that. That's important for any county they've ever been in. Very, very important. Something that I haven't been able to do yet, which I wanted to do, but I've actually become the detective, was hire a private detective. They filed so many charges on me for doing things that I wish I could do to see what my child was doing, but I knew they would. They're gaslighting false charges on me saying I'm stalking them, when in reality they're stalking me, and they're stealing my identity, and they're breaking in my house, and they're doing all these things to attack me. And it's really important to record every incident that you have with anyone involved, and you need to back it up on a flash drive and put it somewhere else. In addition to making 3 copies at least of all documents, and that goes for a while you're in court, so you can give 1 to each and they don't take your only copy, and that you have audio if you can bring your phone in the courthouse, or if you're, a one-party state, meaning both parties don't need to know. You can bring that in the courthouse. If you can, or, any other recording device. I strongly suggest it because transcripts and recorded hearings can be modified, and there's a lot of interference and manipulation of our court files going on. I know that from personal experience. Judges, some of them, like in my case, Judge Gordon Miller, has, you can just Google review him, see other people too. And I'd like to know about all of the children that he's hurt. And I'd like them to have some kind of recognition, and him to not be able to age out successfully in March because he's, been appointed and he's been on the bench all this time. I believe that he needs to be publicly recognized for his poor choices that have hurt many, 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 many children, and his cruelty and his lack of respect for the bench and for children's lives. Apparently, this is just something funny, but I was thinking maybe his mother kept his father away, and his father was trying to get him or didn't try. Now he needs to punish every woman and give it to the father. I mean, it just felt like that. Any kind of abuse, which apparently he's got a lot. It's like he has these reactions to anything about abuse. He's very like cruel and mean in the courtroom. He used to like to really see me cry, but when I didn't the last time he got, I called him out for lying about the law. That is the reason he recused himself. He lied about the domestic violence law, and I knew it. He had ex parte communications with the other party and counsel in the courtroom when I left, and I have that on audio. I have on audio Judge Gordon Miller putting a motion that was denied that the defendant or the plaintiff, my ex, mailed to me into the court file like it was real with a blank piece of paper and a judge's signature on it. I guess they thought that was going to pass. Then they got other judges involved. It was like a conspiracy with a criminal abuser who's now sitting in jail. It's like, how far are you going to go with this? They're facts. These are facts. Facts verifiable. But anyway, back to what I was saying. I would suggest to, as far as the medical records and all that, get anything, school records, any documentation you can. Also, anybody around, I would do, background checks and anything on them as well. Of course, get your child therapy, but, obviously we're getting blocked from taking our kids to therapy. That's a big deal. Like with a lot of the moms, we try to take our kids, but we're blocked. Like they interfere because they cannot let any kind of truth come out, and they need to control that. I feel as though that we should, if we can, find therapists too, and if I took my daughter to my therapist like 6 times because it was COVID, I couldn't get her in, and she's an expert. Talia never would even say a word because, she got to a point where she was so scared that her daddy was going to find out. She felt like he is omnipresent, like he knows everything, and he always knew where we were, and he was always coming to get her. Like, she told me really disturbing things, which I recorded, and it's like, I still haven't went through all the recordings because it hurts too much. Trying to detach, and the pictures of all the horrible marks on my baby's body that have been ignored, cigarette burn, scars and burns on her knees, urinary problems, belly problems, just horrible things that would break any good mama that loves her baby all the way down if she can't stop that from happening to her baby. So, like I said, it's a game. Also with the documents, I would make copies of everything, your entire court file, make a separate Google account to upload all your screenshots and photos. Don't put it on just one main Google account. Definitely need to manage your notification settings and things on your phone to lock it down. There's different things, Apple versus Android, that you can do that I could, go on for hours about the things I've learned. Because I've been hacked. All my phones have been hacked multiple times. It's just been nuts. The things that they can do if they're, they have enough money and power. At this point, I don't even know who the hell it is. I'm a target because I tell the truth. And I have been ever since I started telling the truth back in, about my baby being hurt back in 16. That's as far as investigating. And we go for technological abuses. It is very easy for anyone with enough motive and just a little bit of money to get access to your complete phone. They can have contacts. They can actually send out messages portraying you. Messenger and Facebook are a gateway to hacker paradise. I delete the apps every night because there's certain permissions. They can come in and turn your phone on with your camera and microphone with the screen black and record it and watch it. In my case, they were doing crazy stuff on my Messenger, sending stuff to people out of my pictures, and, triangulating and creating dislike in my relationships. I'm like, what? You got what from me? And then people are like, I've been trying to reach you. Your phone says you're not available. I'm like, you know? So that was kind of shocking. So I'm still probably going to go through the rest of life like, is somebody hacking me, or does nobody just want to talk to me? Because this shit is crazy. Excuse my language. I think that we really need expert witnesses, with real child psychologists, experts on child abuse. And we need civil rights reinforcement as a whole. Mothers do. Our constitutional rights are just nil. We're being denied due process and drained of all of our resources. And it's either to perpetuate the let's play courthouse, or a much darker motive to have children with scary men who don't have morals and values, to allow those children to be in very, very dangerous situations. And apparently men in power have an affinity for doing things to children. And we all as a society need to recognize that that's true. Yeah, it's taboo, but it's happening. It's time to save our next generation and these little children. They have no choice. They have no choice. They're just trapped. And I know that it's time for a change. It's time for our babies to be able to be with their moms, to be free from cruelty, to be free from harm. And their safety needs to matter more than a father's rights, because there's a lot of abuse going on out here. As you see in society, it's kind of taken a downfall, and men have become aggressive. And that's not all of men. There's a proportion, though, that are scary and feel entitled to us as women. They feel entitled to our bodies. They feel entitled to control and to keep. We're never allowed to leave, right? We took our power back. Well, they're going to take everything else back to make us, break us. Because that was the goal. Break you down. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but at one point I was considering going back to the hell just to be with my child, because I was like, I don't know which one's worse. Being with him, my name was Dumb Dog. I was fine with that. Completely under his control. Like, look back now and I just want to hug her. It was horrible. It was a nightmare for my children too, to be around, and it's affected their lives. And this has echoed throughout time. And like I said before, we are the generation of women that can break this cycle of silence. We've been silenced, right? We can't talk about it. Can't talk about what they do to us. That time's up. We can talk about it. And we can get through it so we don't have to go through it anymore. The family court needs to find somewhere else. These attorneys, lawyers, judges, whatever. They need to find somewhere else to make their money, instead of off of children's innocence and mothers' desperation to protect their children from harm. It's really getting old. And it goes to show you what kind of character these judges have, seeing these facts and knowing that they're, outright slander and lies to place a child in harm's way, knowing the facts on purpose. Knowing that a man's on drugs, he's drinking and driving, that he's abusive, that he's degrading the mother, that he's keeping her from the child, that child and mother are, the mother's stable and the child and mother are close. That would have been open shut, right? Open shut. Because I got custody. He had weekends. But when she came back from those weekends acting sexually inappropriate, it affected me. It affected me because I had to do something. I couldn't send her back. I was like, I can't. Going to the court and then being in front of the Judge Gordon Miller, where he snatched my child from me and gave equal weight to my psychopath child's father, making these projected narcissistic projection allegations on me, which scares me even more to know that he's making them. To cause confusion, yet we know he's lying. We have a report. We have proof that he's not stable. We have this. We don't like that. We don't like it. You're unstable. We're taking her. Family court or courthouse, let's play courthouse is on the next round. I don't want to play courthouse anymore. I'm done playing courthouse. I'm ready to play checkmate, federal court, civil suits, and it's time to pay for pain and suffering of children and mothers who have been denied rights. That's my message for this evening. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.